Okay, so here's the dual rectifier Rectoverb 25. It's sitting on a Marshall 2061 212 cabinet, and to give you a concept of scale, of size, I'm going to go ahead and hold what everybody knows is a tube screamer. I'm just going to put the tube screamer right next to the head. So that'll give you an idea of how big the amplifier is. As you can see, that's right to scale because the pedal is right next to the head. So you can see it's a very small amplifier. The other thing worth noting is it's very light. In fact, if you have the rectifier, mini rectifier, this head is either the exact same weight or just a little teeny bit above it. Alright, so your front controls are pretty straightforward. You have a 25 watt to 10 watt mode on both channels, master, presence, bass, mid, treble, gain, right, on both channels. On your clean channel you get clean and pushed, which is just a little dirt, and then of course on your second channel you get vintage and modern. Okay, foot switch and input. Okay, then you also get a channel selecting switch. Let's look at the back. So here's the back of the cabinet, or the back of the head I should say. So let's run through the complement, shall we? You have your effects loop, pretty straightforward. See where it says EXT reverb? You can add another pedal and turn the reverbs on and off. It does not come with that pedal, it only comes with a foot switch control. The channel 1 and 2 reverb controls allow you to adjust reverb on both channels. I keep my clean channel wet and my dirty channel a little dry, and then of course your speaker output. The only thing I want to take notice to this is this. Here's your complement of tubes. That should be your output transformer. That's your input transformer, and that's a choke. So the only thing I want to mention is I'm really sure, because I really looked at it as hard as I could, I did not see a choke on the mini rectifier. So that looks new. And I don't know much about tube amps, but I do know this. If they don't use a choke, they use some kind of capacitor. And I think that's why this amp sounds a little, I guess, creamier and smoother. So I think they changed or improved this amp a little bit, even though they didn't say so. Alright guys, let's go to the next thing. Hi guys, today I'm going to review the Mesa Boogie Rectoverb 25. So I own the rectifier, the mini rectifier. I had it for 2 years, and then I bought this one because I don't know, crazy. And owned them both for about a week and immediately decided that the mini rectifier had to go. So the main differences, let's talk about that. So real quick, we'll recap it. So in case you guys have a mini rectifier and are thinking about this one. If you're thinking about this one, I'll give you the pros and cons real fast. The pros, this seems to have a choke. The other one didn't seem to have that. I don't know much about that except for the fact that I've seen Mike Saldano explain chokes, and it seems to have a tighter response and smoother transition between notes. So, I give it a point for that. It looks nice. I think the other one looked nice too, but I think this looks nicer. But you may be, the opposite opinion. That's fine. It's bigger, but it weighs about the same, so there's no real win or lose. Of course, it has dual reverbs, which is huge because you now have reverb on the go, and the amp is pretty much fully giggable at this point. The downfall is you're going to lose $300 on your mini rectifier. You paid $1,000, you're going to sell it for $7, and then you got to buy this for $11. So you're going to have to come up with $300-400 more. So the question is $300-400 worth reverb? Okay, so let's talk about it. Same control layout, but I'm going to stop talking like you guys know what that is. Okay, so on this amp, I'm in clean mode. This is as clean as it gets. I have the gain moderate, and I have the volume cranked. Clean mode. Here's how clean mode works. Clean mode is fantastic. It's really sweet and nice. I'll tell you the pros. That's the pro. And it loves pedals. Another pro. Con is they use EL34s instead of 6V6s. I'm not sure why, but Mesa Boogie knows their stuff. However, I've owned a couple amps in this wattage range that had 6V6s, and their clean channels always seemed a little bigger sounding to me, but not as good as the Mesa. The Mesa's definitely got the high quality sound coming out of it, but the EL34s tend to get a chime. This is a Les Paul, and this Les Paul is very warm sounding. So it's not so much a con, it's something I'm okay, so that's your clean channel. It's pretty straightforward, and it has a push control, and the push control sounds really good when you run at low gain. You get a little bite and you run pedals in front of it. Again, the amp loves pedals more than any other Mesa I've ever seen, even more than the Rectoverb, or the Rectifier, the Mini. I don't know why, but it seems to take the pedals just a little bit better. Maybe that's the choke. Maybe there's maybe some other changes. Distortion-wise. Okay, so right now I'm in 10-watt mode, and I'm in vintage setting, and I have the gain at about, let's go straight up. We're going to be at 12 o'clock. Right? So very nice. That's pretty much where I like it. I use the amp mostly as a slave for a pedal, but the gain channel, if I'm going to use it. Okay, now I'm just going to take you to Metal Town. This is the gain cranked in modern mode. Okay, so I'm in 10-watt mode. I'm not going to put it in 25-watt mode. It's loud. Either way, it's loud. The vintage mode and the modern mode, when you flip the modern mode, it jacks the signal up. I don't know what that caused that, but it does it on every single one of them. I have some friends that own these. I have some friends that own the old ones, and I own the old one. They all do it. It's a very consistent quality that the amps all seem to have. So that makes that pretty easy. The only thing I want to mention last that's pretty impressive. Oh, I should mention that mine's modded. I put a blue jewel in it. It usually comes in red. So not a big deal, but I always put LEDs in my amps, and so I put a blue LED jewel in there. It lasts longer. So LED light and a blue jewel. Okay, so last I wanted to mention about the amplifier was that the only thing I was going to tell you was if you can't get a blues tone out of the dirty channel, right? So we go back to vintage mode. You're kind of hosed because the clean channel, although it's amazing and it likes pedals, for some reason my really sweet, creamy blues pedals, they don't really tend to grab the blues sound out of this amp. So this amp is definitely a rock, soft, I don't want to say soft metal, but metal, rock, definitely clean, and you can pretty much fake through the blues. But if you're just in a rock band, this is the amp you have for a gigging rock, local rock band. You don't need a ton of volume. But a blues band, you'll be probably tweaking it a lot. All right, guys. Thanks for your time. There you go.